Hello, my witchy friends. Today I wanted to show you all a recent, very witch-themed book haul from one of the most famous witchy bookstores in the world called Treadwell. I went in March for the first time, and I think it's my favorite place, possibly ever. And I brought back as much as my little suitcase could hold. So let me know if you want to see any of these books in a future video. Love to do a little review and a flip through for all of you. So let's get started. So the first one feels a little silly because I don't really need a short introduction to witchcraft. But I think one of the crazy things about studying a subject really carefully and attentively is that sometimes you have a hard time summarizing your work succinctly to other people. So I thought it would be an interesting read to just see how does Malcolm Gaskill, the writer of this book, summarize witchcraft, because it's not easy to do. So there's, I think at this point, hundreds of books in the very short introduction series. There's one on magic that I couldn't find that I'd really like. I believe it's by Owen Davies. But this one is just on witchcraft. And these are put out by Oxford University Press. And yeah, there's all sorts of little illustrations, and I haven't read it yet, but I'm thinking that I will, and I'll probably just have it in my collection as a nice little, summative work that I can lend to people if they're new to the history of witchcraft. I picked this up. I thought it was really neat. And they're really small. Like, they're not much bigger than the palm of your hand. So, that is the first book that I picked up. It has quite a few interesting... Oh, you can see here how many different very short introduction books there are. It's kind of neat. There's lots of them. But very simple table of contents, and I think it's only including your notes at the end. It's only 146 pages, so it's pretty short. So that's the first book that I picked up. The second book is really, really neat. It's the Helleborne Guide to Occult Britain. The Helleborne Guide to Occult Britain. can see on the cover of it, there's Stonehenge and a witch hat, and a little hand and an eye and some bats. And this one caught my eye because it's kind of like a definitive guide to all of the geographical locations that you can visit in the UK that have some sort of connection to witchcraft or folklore and the occult and magic. So this one says, exploring castles, museums, and manor houses, megaliths, moors, mountains, and lakes. This lavishly illustrated travel guide covers the rich history of magic and the occult in Britain and Northern Ireland and its inextricable bond with the landscape. Delve into a world of witchcraft, ancient rituals, and occult ceremonies. From the ancient stone circles of the Cornish moors to the wealthy manor houses of Hampshire, from the windswept headlands of Northumbria to the golden streets of Oxford, from the turbulent Scottish borderlands to the rugged Causeway Coast, this guide ventures into hundreds of locations with magical links, exploring the works of authors and creators inspired by their strange, numinous beauty, the lives of the occultists, witches, and cunning folk who inhabited them, and the legends that persist. As you can see, this is a really, really colorful, beautiful book. I haven't had a chance to fully read it yet, but it looks incredible. And there's also a really nice, fold-out map that has all the different areas in Britain. And there's one in the back as well. Same map. So I'm really excited to take a look at this one and consult it for my next trip, my next research trip, whenever that will be. But I thought it was really neat that there's a guidebook made for people just like me. Really amazing. And I love all of the swirly detail on the outside. It also says on the back that it's Occult Britain and Northern Ireland, so they're not excluding Northern Ireland, but really amazing. Can't wait to crack this one open. Okay, the next one is a very special Treadwell's book, and it's by who I understand to be the owner of Treadwell's, or the founder, Christina Oakley Harrington, and this one is called Dreams of Witches, the Treadwell's selection. There were multiple editions of this one, but this one was the most, this one appealed to me the most, and I have a Treadwell's bookmark in here, I think. Oh no, it's not a bookmark, it just shows that this book is signed by the author, and this is actually the logo of Treadwell's. I got a tote bag that also has this on it, and I love it. But you can see that it's at 33 Store Street, Bloomsbury, London. So it's in the beautiful Bloomsbury area. We'll tuck that back inside. And you can see that it is signed by Christina Oakley Harrington right here. And it's published by Black Letter Press. And the book as I understand it, is about the New Forest Coven. So it's more geared towards Wicca, but it's a collection of different quotations from different works of 20th century literature that reflect the stirrings of witchcraft. So it's a really neat book. I've been reading selections of it every couple of days and really enjoying all of the different literary excerpts that she's included. And it's just a really nice volume to have. So that is Dreams of Witches. It's such a nice textured cover as well. Kind of like rougher sort of material. It's really nice. And there's a little moon on it. Okay. The next book is more to do with folklore and fairy tale. And it is the Virago Book of Witches. And I just fell in love with this cover. I thought it was so beautiful. The way that the illustration kind of like winds around the outside of the text. It's just a really beautiful book, I think. And it says on the back, the witch, resilient, edgy, awe-inspiring, and potent. She never disappears for long. And this book, as I understand it, is a collection of folklore and legends about witches. It says, the Virago Book of Witches is a celebration of anger, tomfoolery, fun, strife, and victory, because the witch never really disappears. And there's some quotes in here, but I just felt really drawn to it because there's a lot of incredible tales in here from all sorts of different cultures from around the world. It gives a really nice sampling of witchcraft and all of the folklore and legend that is behind it. There's also, this is a slipcover, but it has a really nice spine underneath. It's really pretty. So you could keep the slipcover on if you wanted, but you don't have to. You can just enjoy the book underneath because it is cloth bound. So that's another book that I picked up at Treadwell's. Okay, the next one is one of my absolute favorite books of all time. And this is a special, I think it's a Penguin Deluxe edition. I don't know what they're called. Penguin Classics edition of Sylvia Townsend Warner's Lolly Willowes. And if you haven't read this book, you 100% need to. If you are a witch and you love 20th century literature. It's amazing. I won't give too much away. But it's about a spinster who runs away from her life, living with her family in England, in London specifically, to live in a little cottage in the woods and become a witch, which I think is everybody's dream. But this is a really gorgeous edition of this book. I absolutely love it, with the fall leaves all over on the spine and imprinted on the cover as well. It's really pretty, and it's cloth bound, and a really compact, like, small edition. So you can bring it with you on the bus, while you commute, wherever you're going, all of your travels. So Sylvia Townsend Warner is such an incredible author, and it's really quite a short book if you're looking for a summer read. Although I do think that it is more synonymous with the fall than with the summertime. And the cover makes really nice noises. Okay, so I found this one. There was only one copy sitting on the shelf, and I immediately saw it and snatched it really, really quickly. Okay, this next one is another Treadwell's exclusive book. And inside, here's that bookmark that I was talking about. So you can see that they offer daily tarot readings. And it says occult, magic, religion, paganism, Wicca, literature, history, poetry, belief, mythology, folklore, and rare books. And they did have a lot of really impressive rare books that I had never seen before that really excited me. So, and on the back, there's a nice little description. Let's read that for you. Bookshop and events. Treadwell's is an eclectic bookshop in Bloomsbury, London. We specialize in worldwide culture with a special interest in the band Burned and Ridiculed. And if our books enchant, then let our gifts delight. Oils, herbs, charms, and resin incenses are found in our apothecary section. Original and vintage novelties adorn Treadwell's displays, and we happily chat about anything we stock. Most evenings you can find us hosting a lecture, a course, or a book launch. Our evening program is packed. If you join our mailing list, you will get fortnightly updates. Whatever draws you to us, you are always welcome to browse books, attend a course, listen to a lecture, or have a drink at a book launch. And at the bottom here it says something very true. A bookshop is a sanctuary for the mind. I love that. That's a little bookmark that they included. And this is the Treadwell's Book of Plant Magic. This one is also by Christina Oakley Harrington. And it kind of reminds me of the cover of Lolly Willowes, with that same sort of like woodcut print style, and the leaves and foliage and all of that. Really pretty. And I just thought that this was a neat, like really concise guide to plant magic. I'd never seen this before. And I do have a really large, plant encyclopedia, but I find it a little cumbersome. And this is more of an abridged guide with, I think, mostly just the basic important things that you need. So it says, plant magic is a perennially popular subject, but in most books the reader must wade through eye remedies and cold cures to get to the truly magical uses, such as winning competitions, seeing fairies, achieving love, and avoiding bullets. Christina Oakley Harrington has sifted through hundreds of folklore collections to assemble traditional spells and charms that use the power of the herbs. The book also offers practical updates to the old uses, which the modern reader will find easy to carry out. The problems and needs section suggests the appropriate plant or plants for almost every issue one could face in life. And it says down here, Christina Oakley-Harrington is the founder of Treadwell's bookshop in London. A former academic historian, she now manages the shop's lecture series and special projects, and her interest in folk magic dates from her childhood. So, in a lot of videos, I think I'll be consulting this because there's a lot of really useful information on plants and their uses, and it's updated, concise, like I said. Just a really nice book to have around. So, it's another book that I picked up from Treadwell's. So this next item is not actually a book. I will for sure do a video on this, but it is a map. It's the most legendary map of Britain. It's the Strumpshaw, Tinkleton, and Giggleswick's craftily conjured Great British Folklore and Superstition Map. And this map is massive. I would have to do a wide shot to show you it, which I will certainly feature this in a video in the future, but it's incredible. It basically highlights all of the locations of myth and legend and folklore and supernatural occurrences in the UK. So there's all of these different boxes here that kind of show the different categories, like strange beings, mysteries and magic, epic expeditions, ghostly goings-on, freaky festivals and events, points of interest, Britain's top 50, and hilariously it says, warning, this map may go bump in the night. Bump in the night. So this is an amazing map. I saw it on one of the main tables in the bookshop and thought to myself, oh, I absolutely need to pick this up because this would be incredible for an ASMR video, and also really handy for me in my research when I'm trying to get more of like a geographical idea of what I'm looking at. So that's the most legendary map of Britain, and I picked this up as well. Okay, the next one is kind of a neat book. It's a longer book. And it's by Laura Tempest Zakroff, and it's called Weave the Liminal. Weave the Liminal. And it's about living modern traditional witchcraft. And this is a really neat book. I've heard a lot of wonderful things about it. I'm not, as you know, as much into studying modern witchcraft. But I heard that this is an excellent guide to a witch such as myself who wants to practice with a groundedness in old tradition and superstition and folklore. So I picked it up just on a lot of different recommendations from people. And it's quite lengthy. There's some of her original art in it, which is gorgeous. You can see some of it here. Like, it's just beautiful, beautiful line work and illustration. So yeah, I picked this up, and I'm hoping to get through it bit by bit. It's quite long, and there are a lot of different like subcategories in the book, like lots and lots. You can see just how lengthy the table of contents is, but if any of you have read this, let me know what you thought. I'm excited to start reading it and just get in touch a little bit more with modern witchcraft and see how she connects it to the past. I was just so drawn by the cover as well. Very similar actually to the other book we looked at, the Virago Book of Witches, with that style that just like kind of goes around and around the border of the book. I'm kind of a sucker for that aesthetic. I think it's really pretty. So that is Weave the Liminal. Okay, and I won't spend too long on this one because I've already talked about this in a full-length video, which I'll link in my description. But this is the Green Witch, and it's your complete guide to the natural magic of herbs, flowers, essential oils, and more. And this is by Erin Murphy Hiscock. And I'd always wanted a copy of this book, and I thought no better place to buy it than at Treadwell's. But there's a series of these books. There's quite a few of them, and there's lots of really wonderful recipes and tips and historical aspects as well in this book. So I highly recommend it if you're looking to get into green witchcraft. And last but not least, I have one more book to show you. They had a lot of graphic novels. I had a hard time picking just one, but this one really appealed to me. I saw it and just like fell in love with the cover. This is called Witchbody, and it's by Sabrina Scott. And I just saw it and I thought, wow, I love this illustration style. Love that it's obviously very grounded in witchcraft. In reading reviews, I heard that it is also centered in environmentalism and plant magic. That you can just see how beautiful the illustrations are in it. Very simple and like understated, but amazing. And I love a graphic novel that has a handwritten introduction. But this is one that I would love to do a separate flip through video on at some point so you can all appreciate with me how beautiful the art is on this one. It's really, really gorgeous. So, it's quite a few books, right? It's a lot of books that I've added to my collection. I really wish that I lived closer to Treadwell's because, I mean, it's probably a good thing that I don't because I would spend a lot of money there. But I really can't wait to go back and pick up some more witchy titles. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, and 10 different titles at Treadwell. So I'm gonna have to clear some room on my bookshelf for all of these wonderful, beautiful books. But please let me know if there are any books that you saw today that you would like a more in-depth video on. Just leave a comment below and don't forget to subscribe. I'd love to do a video that covers a little more ground on any of these books. So thank you so much for joining me today for this video. I hope that your week is going well.